Hello everyone. Although I prefer printing functional and practical items with my 3D printer, most of what it gets used for is model making. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to share some of my favourite models or modelling items that I've printed. First up, this is one of the first instances where I had a problem that my 3D printer was able to solve for me better than many other solutions. I was given this model aeroplane as a kit for Christmas back in 2016. It was originally designed for internal combustion engines and came with an internal combustion engine mount that the nose gear also mounted to. I wanted to make this an electric model, and so I needed to print a motor mount that would also take the steerable nose gear. So I printed this motor mount. It's a pretty simple shape, but it does also take the steerable nose gear. It's printed in ABS to make it nice and strong, with about 50% infill, and this has turned out really well. It takes all of the force of this large motor with no problems, all of the forces applied to the landing gear when the aeroplane comes crashing down, and it's held up really, really well. So I'm very pleased with it, despite it being a very simple and easy print. Given the wall behind me, it's probably no surprise that a lot of the modelling I do is for model aeroplanes. This is my Park Zone Spitfire. This thing is now 10 years old or so and has been flying for almost all of that time. And it's taken a lot of wear and tear over the time and has had a couple of crashes. In a couple of those crashes, it destroyed the propeller spinner that it came with, and I haven't been able to get new ones of these. So I 3D printed it. So this spinner is 3D printed. It was a quick 3D printing job. It fits nicely and has so far held up to all the forces of the motor and hard landings, and I'm very pleased with it. Now this model I've shown being built in a previous video. It's my rocket-shaped pepper grinder. And I'm just really pleased with how this turned out. I just eyeballed a general shape of the rocket in Fusion 360, put a hole through it large enough to take the pepper grinder components, and I'm just really pleased with how it turns out. I think it looks really, really good. Another subject of a previous video, this is my 3D printed solar-powered radio-controlled boat. It's a simple design, but it's entirely 3D printed, and when it's too windy for me to go flying model aeroplanes and I get cabin fever and really want to drive something around, I just throw this in the pool and have a bit of fun. So I'm just really pleased with this. I think it looks pretty good, it's nice and simple, and it's entirely 3D printed. And finally, some models that are really important to me. These are 3D printed ASCAP dishes. So ASCAP is a radio telescope being built here in Western Australia. My employer, the International Centre for Radio Astronomy Research, wanted to do a 3D printed model of the entire observatory, so it just got me to print one of these things. Now, my 3D printer is a Prusa i3 Mark I. It cannot handle all of this detail in one go, so this had to be printed in lots of separate assemblies that were then put together into one thing. So the pedestal up to here is one, the simple dish on its own is one print, and then all these other extra bits and the frame on the dish had to be printed separately, flat on the bed, and then stuck on by hand. And these have turned out to be really popular. I keep getting requests for them, and so I've made about 9 of these over the past few months. And along with these guys, these are Murchison Wide Field Array, another radio telescope up in the same area, dipoles, or scale models of them. For this job I was asked to print 1,000 of these. The real Murchison Wide Field Array has 3,000 antennas. I was printing just a third of those, and so together, printing 1,000 of those and a few of these over the past few months, these have entirely paid off my 3D printer. So I'm pretty pleased with that.